Go. Good afternoon, members of the media, and to those of you as well joining us by television and online. I trust that you have been doing your best to stay safe in these challenging times by adhering to the COVID-19 guidelines of social distancing and sanitizing the system. Once we all continue to follow these guidelines, we'll get through this together. Today is the 19th day of the national recount. And at the end of the 24th of May, just over 1,089 boxes were recounted, with regions 1 and 2 complete, and counting on the way for regions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Our agents have noted an alarming number of discrepancies that lead us to conclude from our preliminary reports that the results from the initial tally of votes are not credible. The declarations made and on record at the Ghana Elections Commission is that the majority of votes cast in the March 2nd, 2020 elections were cast in favor of the list of candidates for the APNU and AFC. Questions of the credibility of the process arose, and it was agreed that a recount of the valid votes will be done in all 10 electoral districts. APNU and AFC made it pellucid that any recount would reveal significant irregularities committed by the PPP amounting to electoral fraud, and that the results would put into serious doubt the fictitious statements presented by the PPP and shared with the international community. It cannot be ignored that we've discovered at this recount numerous instances of missing poll books, poll book irregularities, illegal voting, that is, persons who were overseas and voted on E-Day, persons who are dead and voted on E-Day. We've also noted statistical anomalies during this recount process. Now, in a document which we circulated yesterday, deemed qualitative irregularities and votes lacking credibility, we have discovered that after reviewing over 699 of these boxes, that the qualitative irregularities that we found amounted to over 86,367 votes. These show that the dead voted, the out-of-country voted, missing poll books, affidavit of identity is not signed, etc. And it points to a systematic undermining of the GCOM process and fraud on the Guyanese population. My Guyanese brothers and sisters, we are looking at a process that is fraught with unresolved issues. For years, we knew that the PPPC had been stealing our votes, your democratic right to elect a president and government who would govern for all and not just a few. Now, the evidence is emerging as clear as day. Our investigations have revealed that as at the 22nd day of May 2020, the electoral theft and scheme is unraveling, and 86,367 votes cannot be explained or accounted for. This directly goes to the credibility of these elections. These unaccounted votes are evidence of a fraudulent attempt to steal elections, suppress the will of the majority of the Guyanese people who voted for the APNUAFC. We anticipate as the days go by, we will find more of these anomalies and we continue to highlight them, irrespective of who believe that these things bear no right to be highlighted. I recall just a few days ago, after I think it was Friday, that the first thing that happened when these anomalies started to hit home. First, Mr. Timothy Jonas, first one of the lawyers, now seems to be part of the PPPC operation. Then the second lawyer that came out the same day, Anil Nandlal. And then the third lawyer, Barra Javio, came out. All of them with different stories as to whether in fact the certificates which we had produced to the Elections Commission are legal or not. Yes, it is true that we call for recount. The question, however, needs to be asked of the Guyana Elections Commission. How and when are you going to address the unresolved issues that are before the Commission that have been unearthed by the report? What are unresolved issues, you may ask? Permit me to explain at least 3 of those unresolved issues. 1, we have found ballot papers and the counterfoil of those ballot papers carrying similar numbers. Let me explain this. A ballot paper is in a book similar to a checkbook. In a checkbook, you have the check leaf, and then there's a stub which bears the same identical number as the checkbook. Similarly, the ballot paper and the counterfoil bear the same number, a number that is unique to each counterfoil. Our agents have detected during this recount that one specific number was found on several counterfoils. How is that possible? The question we must ask ourselves therefore was there bogus ballots printed? And therefore, how widespread is this phenomenon? Secondly, we look at the discovery of wrong lists in ballot boxes. You have, at the end of the count at a polling place, documents are placed in a ballot box. The list for that ballot box is placed in that ballot box. Now we are reopening these ballot boxes. You find the list from one box in another box. How is that possible? Some hand had to go into that box after it was sealed and do what they had to do and mix up the list. Put one box list in another box. So this is the second issue that GCOM has to resolve. The third unresolvable issue, I call it, is the discovery of ballots printed for one region appearing in another region. Now let me explain that. Every region has a distinct color coding. So if your ballots are for region 4, it has one color. Region 5 got another color. Region 6 another color. So when the agents will find in a ballot box to region 4 ballots for region 5 and region 2 inside there. How is that possible? GCOM has to explain this. GCOM has to explain this. The final issue I want to raise this afternoon is the question of the discipline services balloting. Our brave and dedicated discipline services men and women, they voted on D-Day, that is the Discipline Services Day. They did not vote on E-Day, because voting on D-Day allows them to vote and then go to work on E-Day, which is Election Day. Now, these discipline services ballots are not stamped at the time when the ballots are cast. This is a little different between the discipline services and the regular ballots. So they will cast the ballots, and then these ballots will be placed in envelopes for the different electoral districts. When these ballots now go to the returning officer will assign these ballots to what are called intermixing stations. So at an intermixing station, what happens is that these ballots are opened, they are then stamped with a 6-digit stamp of that intermixing station. Then they are counted, and then it is placed in the box. What our agents have discovered is that on numerous occasions, these ballots were not stamped and they were deemed invalid. So what that means is that a vast number of our discipline services men and women, their votes were not counted. We have called upon GCOM to ensure that the votes of the discipline services, that they are counted. We will insist on that, because it was clear for all to see that the overwhelming majority of the discipline services personnel, that they were in support of the APNUAFC. And so it will appear to be a calculated effort to ensure that those votes, which they knew were going to come our way, that they were deemed invalid. Since that discovery was made, I can say to you that several ranks of the discipline services have expressed their utter disgust and anger over this matter. My fellow Guyanese, from the trends we have noted, we expect to uncover more instances of fraud by the end of this process. But make no mistake, the APNUAFC coalition has been and remains confident that we were successful at the polls. We, however, must stay focused on the validity of each vote, which gives credibility to the entire process. We cannot allow electoral fraud by the PPP to prevail over our democratic process. I wish all Guyanese, at home and abroad, a happy Independence Day. I thank you.